Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll be speaking with a filmmaker here as a part of the Southern Circuit film series, Michael Collins. Michael, thanks for joining us here
Thanks
today.
for having me.
And you brought your film, Almost Sunrise, here to Troy University to show the film and kind of tell the story behind it. So if you will, kind of give us a little bit of the background of the film that you are bringing here to Troy University for the series.
Sure. Well, Almost Sunrise follows the journey of two Iraq War veterans who, after being home for several years, start losing some friends to suicide and start to realize that they still have some healing to do themselves. And they tried the pharmaceuticals and traditional therapies and they're not really working. So one of them decides, I want to walk across the country to clear my head. And his friend comes along with him because he has some of his own issues to deal with. And that's how it started. That's where the inspiration for the walk came, is they really just wanted to heal themselves and also in the process call some attention to the issues that veterans and their families are facing.
Now, how did you come across this story and get involved with this type of event itself? Because obviously walking across the country, but you had to have some sort of, I guess, connection to this before you decided to tackle this film.
Sure. Well, I was doing some volunteer work at the time for a veterans organization. And in that process, I was interviewing vets and I was learning so much about the issues that they and their families had been facing, and felt a real disconnection between myself and that community. And someone brought up to me in one of the interviews that 22 veterans were committing suicide every day, and that was the statistic at the time back in 2012. And that really shocked me. And I really felt like, why didn't I know this? Why don't more people know this? And after doing this work, I just decided I want my next film to be about the veteran and military family experience so that we can all understand more and to try to connect our communities more.
And of course, it adds another layer of information because the walk itself was designed to give some information and to be able to help individuals. But now by telling that story, you're taking it to another level and spreading that message. So how does it make you feel that you're able to get this message out to some individuals out there, much like yourself, who had no idea that some of these concerns were out there?
Yeah, well, that's really my approach, is I always see the film being just one piece of media as a part of a larger campaign to make change. So I've always wanted to use the film to get out there, to connect with communities, to inspire people to sort of make change in their communities, and that's exactly what's been happening. So I feel really fortunate. We premiered the film over Memorial Day at Telluride Mountain Film and have been on the road ever since. And the reactions and the responses that we're getting from audiences is amazing. Civilians will come up and say, wow, I had no idea. I want to volunteer now more with a veterans organization. I want to reach out to the military family in my community that I had always been a little bit hesitant to connect with. And for veterans, we're hearing vets come up and say, wow, I feel hope now. I see that there are paths towards healing that I wasn't aware of before. A big part of the film talks about some alternative methods for healing, things like time in nature and meditation and just different ways, that aren't so easy to get at the VA, not just so much traditional.
To be able to explore some other options that they may not have considered before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, with this, you followed along on this journey. How long was the journey again? How far did they walk?
They walked 2,700 miles, and it took them just over 5 months.
5 months, and so you followed along with them as well. So obviously, probably weren't doing all the walking that they were doing, but
No.
but being a part of that process, obviously, it gave you a little bit better understanding of what they're having to go through, and maybe connect it a little bit more to better tell their story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of what for me, it's also a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to challenge myself and put myself in situations where I'm sort of moving out of my comfort zone. And, I got to really watch them go through it. I got to watch their whole experience and watch where the real healing was taking place. Oftentimes it was just when a community would come out and invite them into their homes and feed them. And, it was just some of the simple things of people just wanting to be of service to them that were the most profound.
And getting to witness that yourself and then sharing that message and sharing those images with the general public and hopefully spreading some understanding about what these vets are going through. And here's hoping that folks get a chance to check out the film and enjoy the message and maybe share the lessons learned with others and spread the word. So I want to thank you for joining us today, and good luck taking the film from Troy, wherever you go to next, and spreading that message. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.